Dr. Samantha Reed stood motionless in her darkened laboratory, watching quantum particles dance across her holographic display. They moved in perfect synchronization with the humming in her mind, a phenomenon she'd never dared share with another soul. At 32, she had become one of the world's leading quantum physicists, though her colleagues at the Global Quantum Research Institute never understood how she achieved such precise predictions in her experiments. They couldn't know that she felt every quantum fluctuation like music in her bones. Since childhood, she'd hidden this ability, along with her other gifts, the power to manipulate matter at its most fundamental level, to sense energy patterns others couldn't detect, and in rare moments of intense focus, to influence probability itself. The facility's lights suddenly flared to life, startling her from her work. Dr. Thomas Parker, her mentor and the Institute's director, burst through the lab doors. His normally composed demeanor was shattered by barely contained excitement. "They're here," he announced, his voice trembling. "The Arcturian ships just entered our solar system." Samantha's heart raced as she followed Thomas to the main observation deck. 3 months ago, humanity had received its first transmission from an advanced alien civilization. The Arcturians, as they called themselves, had expressed interest in peaceful scientific exchange. Their arrival today would mark humanity's first contact with an extraterrestrial species. Through the deck's panoramic windows, she watched as 3 crystalline vessels descended through Earth's atmosphere. They defied conventional physics, their structures seeming to shift and flow like liquid metal. But something about their energy signature made her skin crawl. The quantum patterns emanating from their ships felt wrong, artificially constrained, as if hiding something beneath. The welcome ceremony proceeded exactly as planned. Dr. Rhiannon Vale, Earth's chief diplomatic officer, stepped forward to greet the Arcturian delegation. Their leader, Ambassador Thex, towered over the humans at nearly 8 feet tall. Their skin had a metallic sheen that rippled with iridescent patterns, and their eyes held an unsettling intelligence. "We bring greetings and knowledge," Thex announced, their voice resonating at multiple frequencies simultaneously. "Your species' rapid advancement in quantum physics has drawn our attention. We wish to share our understanding of the universe with humanity." As the ambassador spoke, Samantha felt a subtle probing, tendrils of energy trying to analyze her cellular structure. She immediately strengthened her mental barriers, techniques she developed over years of hiding her true nature. The probing intensified briefly before withdrawing. Over the next weeks, the Arcturians established research centers across the globe, freely sharing technological advances that accelerated human progress by decades. They seemed particularly interested in human genetics and brain structure, claiming they were studying how different species evolved consciousness. But late one night, as Samantha worked alone in her lab, she detected an encrypted quantum transmission between Arcturian ships. Her unique abilities allowed her to decode the signal, and what she discovered chilled her to the core. Subject 274 shows minimal quantum sensitivity, the message read. Genetic markers present but dormant. Continue searching for active expressions. The humans are developing abilities our species has sought for millennia. Find the source. Samantha's hands trembled as she erased all traces of her intercept. The Arcturians' generous scientific exchange was a cover for their true mission. They were searching for humans with special abilities. People like her. A soft knock at her lab door made her jump. Dr. Nathan Walsh, her research partner, stood in the doorway with concern etched on his face. "Sam? You've been here for 18 hours straight. Whatever you're working on can wait until tomorrow." She forced a smile, though her mind raced with implications. Nathan was brilliant and trustworthy, but she'd spent her entire life keeping her abilities secret. Yet as she watched another Arcturian ship glide past her window, she realized she might not be able to protect humanity alone. The quantum particles in her display swirled faster, responding to her agitation. She had to make a choice, maintain her lifelong secret and watch as the Arcturians slowly infiltrated Earth, or risk everything by revealing herself to stop them. Either way, humanity's first contact with alien life was about to become far more complicated than anyone had imagined. And Dr. Samantha Reed, the woman who had spent her life hiding what she truly was, might be the only person who could save her species from what was coming. She just hoped humanity was ready to learn that aliens weren't the only evolutionary leap they needed to worry about. The Arcturian research wing pulsed with an eerie blue-white glow as Samantha phased through its security barriers. She'd spent weeks perfecting this technique, using her quantum manipulation abilities to shift her molecular structure just enough to pass through solid matter. The alien facility's crystalline walls hummed with energy frequencies that made her teeth ache, but she pressed on, following the disturbing patterns she'd detected in the quantum field. She found what she was looking for in Sublevel 3. Through the translucent walls, she watched as Ambassador Thex and a team of scientists conducted their latest volunteer study. A young physicist named Daniel Foster lay suspended in a chamber of shifting light, his genetic code displayed in glowing strands above him. Even from here, Samantha could sense he was different, not like her, but carrying traces of whatever made her special. The human genome contains markers we've never encountered, Thex's voice drifted through the barrier. Sequences that suggest potential for abilities far beyond their current evolutionary state. But this specimen shows only trace amounts. We need to find a pure source. Samantha's fists clenched as she watched them probe and analyze Daniel like a lab specimen. He'd volunteered for what he thought was a cultural exchange program. Over the past month, she'd tracked dozens of similar disappearances across research facilities worldwide. The volunteers entered Arcturian medical studies and vanished into restricted areas, never to be seen again. A new figure entered the lab, General Venn, the Arcturian military commander who'd arrived recently under the guise of security coordination. Her armor rippled like liquid mercury, and her movements were predatory rather than scholarly. The High Council grows impatient, Thex, Venn's multi-toned voice crackled with authority. These humans are developing abilities our species has sought for millennia. The genetic key to unlocking such power could revolutionize our entire civilization. Find me the source. We've detected stronger signatures, Thex responded, their skin shifting to darker hues. Particularly in their scientific community. Something about human intellectual development seems linked to these emerging traits. There's one subject in particular. Samantha didn't need to hear the rest. She'd felt their probing attention, noticed their sensors focusing on her lab with increasing frequency. They suspected something, but they didn't know what she was. Not yet. Back in her own lab, she used her quantum sensing abilities to bypass the facility's security systems, searching through classified files. The pattern was clear: the Arcturians were systematically testing humans worldwide, growing bolder in their experiments as Earth's governments remained blind to their true purpose. Working late again? Nathan's voice made her jump. She quickly closed the classified files, but not before he caught a glimpse of the screen. Sam, are those restricted Arcturian medical records? How did you even access those? She studied her research partner's face in the dim light. Nathan had been by her side for 5 years, brilliant and dependable. More than that, he'd become her closest friend. The weight of her secrets suddenly felt unbearable. Sit down, Nathan, she said quietly. There's something I need to show you. She held out her hand, and the quantum particles in the air began to dance, forming complex patterns of light and energy. Nathan's eyes widened as she manipulated the very fabric of reality before him. How? He whispered. I've always been different, she explained. I can sense and manipulate quantum fields in ways that should be impossible. And I'm not the only one. The Arcturians, they're not here for scientific exchange. They're hunting people like me. Before Nathan could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Emergency lights flashed as the building's quantum sensors detected a massive energy surge. Through the window, they watched as another Arcturian ship descended from orbit, its crystalline surface crackling with contained power. "That's their Hunter-class vessel," Samantha said grimly. "They're escalating their search. Nathan, I need to know, are you with me?" He stared at the ship, then back at his friend of 5 years who'd just revealed herself to be something beyond his understanding of human potential. "What's the plan?" "First, we need to free their test subjects. Then we need to find others like me before they do. Because if the Arcturians succeed in harvesting our genetic potential, they won't just study humanity, they'll try to remake us in their image." As if in response to her words, the quantum particles around them swirled faster, resonating with her determination. The Arcturians had come seeking human potential, but they'd soon learn that evolution had given humanity teeth, and Samantha Reed was done hiding in the shadows. She pulled up the facility schematics, marking the locations of secured research subjects. "We start tonight. The Arcturians think they're the most advanced species in this sector of space. Time to show them how much they've underestimated human potential." Nathan watched in awe as she began plotting their resistance. The woman he thought he knew had been extraordinary all along, and now she was about to prove that humanity's next evolutionary step wasn't just coming. It was already here. The rescue mission went sideways almost immediately. Samantha and Nathan had successfully infiltrated Sub-Level 3's containment area, but they hadn't counted on the Arcturians' new quantum detection grid. As they approached Daniel Foster's stasis chamber, every crystal in the facility began to pulse with warning energy. "They're tracking your quantum signature," Nathan whispered, checking the stolen security feeds on his tablet. "We have 3 minutes before their security forces reach this level." Samantha placed her hand against Daniel's chamber, feeling the complex energy patterns keeping him suspended. With a deep breath, she reached out with her abilities, unweaving the quantum fields strand by strand. The chamber's crystals cracked and shattered as she forced her will through their alien technology. Daniel's eyes fluttered open as the stasis field collapsed. "Dr. Reed? What's happening?" No time to explain, she helped him stand. "Can you walk?" A blast of energy scorched the wall beside them. At the end of the corridor stood General Venn, her mercury-like armor rippling with barely contained power. Behind her, a squad of Arcturian soldiers raised their weapons. "Fascinating," Venn's multi-toned voice echoed through the chamber. "We suspected someone was interfering with our work, but I never imagined we'd find such a perfect specimen. Your quantum manipulation abilities are extraordinary." Samantha pushed Daniel behind her, feeling the familiar surge of energy building beneath her skin. "Your experiments on humans end tonight. You don't understand what you are." Venn took a step forward. "Your species is developing abilities that could reshape the galaxy. We're not here to harm humanity, we're here to guide your evolution." "By kidnapping and experimenting on innocent people?" Nathan's voice shook with anger. "Some guide. Necessary research," Venn replied coldly. "Humanity is like a child playing with antimatter. Without proper guidance, you'll destroy yourselves before reaching your true potential. Dr. Reed, think of what we could accomplish together. Your abilities combined with our technology." The quantum particles around Samantha began to swirl violently. "I've seen enough of your guidance." She thrust her hands forward, and reality itself seemed to buckle. The corridor between them twisted as she manipulated spacetime, turning the straight path into an impossible maze. The Arcturian soldiers fired, but their energy bolts curved away harmlessly. "Nathan, get Daniel out of here," she shouted, maintaining the spatial distortion with one hand while using the other to rip open a hole in the facility's wall. "The emergency exit is 2 levels up. I'll hold them off." "I'm not leaving you," Nathan protested. "Trust me," she managed a quick smile. "I'm done hiding what I can do." As Nathan and Daniel escaped through the opening, Venn's armor began to glow with intense energy. Impressive control, but you're not the only one who can manipulate quantum fields. The air crackled as two opposing forces collided. Samantha's natural abilities clashed with Ven's technologically enhanced powers, creating a maelstrom of quantum chaos. Lights exploded throughout the facility as reality strained under their battle. But something unexpected happened as they fought. The more Samantha pushed her abilities, the stronger they became. She could feel new possibilities opening in her mind, as if her confrontation with the Arcturians was forcing her powers to evolve. Impossible, Ven gasped as her technological advantages began to fail against Samantha's raw power. Your abilities are growing exponentially. How? Because I'm not using technology to copy quantum manipulation, Samantha realized. This power is part of who I am, who humanity is becoming. And you can't control evolution. With a final surge of energy, she tore apart Ven's quantum defenses. The general slammed against the far wall, her armor crackling with feedback. The remaining Arcturian soldiers retreated, their weapons useless against Samantha's abilities. But as the dust settled, she became aware of new sensations, quantum signatures similar to her own, scattered across the globe. The battle had heightened her sensitivity, allowing her to detect others like herself. Dozens of them, perhaps hundreds, their latent abilities beginning to awaken. She accessed the facility's communications array, broadcasting on frequencies only those with quantum sensitivity could detect. To anyone who can hear this, you're not alone. The Arcturians are hunting us, studying us, trying to unlock our abilities for themselves. But we're not their test subjects. We're humanity's next step forward, and it's time we stood together. As responses began flowing in from around the world, Samantha turned to find Nathan and Daniel returning with reinforcements, other test subjects they'd freed, some showing signs of emerging abilities of their own. The Arcturians will be back, Nathan warned, helping her stand. And they'll bring more ships, more soldiers. Samantha nodded, watching as the quantum particles around them danced with new purpose. Let them come. Humanity has spent too long being afraid of its own potential. The Arcturians wanted to study human evolution? Well, they're about to get a front row seat. Above them, more Arcturian ships appeared in the night sky, their crystalline surfaces gleaming with deadly promise. But for the first time since they arrived, Samantha smiled. Because she wasn't just fighting for survival anymore, she was fighting for humanity's right to choose its own path to the stars. The abandoned particle accelerator facility outside Geneva had become their sanctuary. Deep underground, shielded from Arcturian sensors, Samantha stood before a group of 30 individuals, each with their own emerging abilities. They'd come from different corners of the world, drawn by her quantum frequency broadcast. Their ships are positioning themselves over major research centers, reported Raj Patel, a former quantum computing specialist who could interface directly with electronic systems. His eyes glowed with digital light as he accessed global satellite feeds. They're not even trying to hide their military presence anymore. Samantha watched as others in the room demonstrated their unique abilities. Olivia Chen, a theoretical physicist from Singapore, could generate quantum entanglement fields. Marcus Williams, a neuroscience researcher from Kenya, had developed the power to perceive and influence probability streams. Each of them represented a different expression of humanity's evolutionary potential. The Arcturians didn't just come here to study us, Samantha addressed the group. They came because they fear us. Their entire civilization is built on technological manipulation of quantum forces, abilities that are naturally emerging in our species. But why now? Asked Sofia Rodriguez, a biochemist who could accelerate or slow molecular processes. Why is this evolution happening at this moment in history? Before Samantha could respond, Nathan burst into the room. We've got trouble. The Arcturians just announced to world governments that they've detected dangerous quantum anomalies in the human population. They're claiming these mutations could destabilize the fabric of space-time. They're trying to turn humanity against us, Marcus realized. Make us look like threats that need to be contained. Samantha nodded grimly. And some governments are already buying it. Look. She projected a quantum hologram showing news feeds from around the world. Military units were mobilizing, working alongside Arcturian forces to locate and detain suspected, quantum-affected individuals. Fear was spreading as the aliens shared carefully edited footage of quantum abilities causing destruction, conveniently omitting that these incidents were defensive responses to their own attacks. We need to show the world the truth, Nathan insisted. Show them what the Arcturians are really doing. It's not that simple, Olivia countered. Even if we expose their experiments, people will still be afraid of what we represent. Change terrifies people, and we're talking about changes to the very definition of human potential. Samantha was about to respond when she felt a massive disturbance in the quantum field. Raja's digital displays went haywire as spatial distortions appeared throughout the facility. In the center of the room, reality itself seemed to tear open. Through the rift stepped a figure they'd never seen before, an Arcturian, but different from the others. Their crystalline form was shot through with organic patterns, and their energy signature resonated oddly with Samantha's own abilities. Peace, the figure raised their hands as everyone prepared to attack. I am Naira, and I am like you, an evolutionary anomaly among my own kind. You're an Arcturian with natural quantum abilities, Samantha realized, sensing the truth in Naira's quantum patterns. The only one in 10,000 years, Naira confirmed. That is why they fear you so much. Natural quantum manipulation was bred out of our species eons ago, deemed too unpredictable to control. We became dependent on technology to replicate these abilities. But now humanity is manifesting them spontaneously, and in ways we never imagined possible. Why are you here? Marcus demanded, probability streams swirling around his fingers. Because I've seen what my people plan to do, Naira's form flickered with distress. They don't just want to study you, they want to harvest your genetic material, create a virus that will either suppress these abilities in the general population or kill those who carry the genes. They would rather destroy your potential than risk losing their technological dominance of this sector of space. The revelation hit the room like a physical blow. Samantha felt the quantum particles around them responding to their collective shock and anger. When? She asked. The viral weapon will be ready in 48 hours. Once they release it into Earth's atmosphere. Then we have 48 hours to stop them, Samantha's voice was steel. She turned to the assembled group. I know we're still learning to control these abilities. I know the world is afraid of us. But right now, we're the only thing standing between humanity and genetic genocide. She began laying out plans, assigning teams based on their abilities. As she watched them prepare, she saw not just the powers they developed, but the human qualities that made them truly formidable: determination, creativity, courage, and an unshakable will to protect their species' right to grow into something new. The Arcturians think they can stop human evolution, she addressed them one final time. But they don't understand what they're really fighting. We're not just random mutations, we're humanity's response to a universe that demands we become something more. And in 48 hours, they're going to learn exactly what that means. Above them, Arcturian ships moved into attack position, their crystalline surfaces blazing with energy. But in the quantum fields that only they could perceive, Earth's first generation of evolved humans prepared to show the cosmos that technology wasn't the only path to the stars. Sometimes, evolution itself showed the way. Dawn broke over Geneva as Samantha watched the Arcturian fleet descend through the atmosphere. 12 crystalline dreadnoughts, their surfaces crackling with enough energy to level cities. The viral weapon was ready, all they needed was to get it into Earth's upper atmosphere for global dispersal. Their shields are unlike anything we've encountered, Raj reported, his consciousness spread across multiple satellite systems. They've adapted their defenses specifically to counter quantum abilities. Samantha felt the weight of responsibility as she looked at the gathered evolved humans, her people, though she still struggled to think of them that way. They'd spent the last 2 days pushing their abilities to new limits, learning to work together in ways that amplified their powers. But would it be enough? Remember the plan, she addressed them. We're not trying to destroy their ships, we're exposing the truth. Naira, are you ready? The Arcturian evolutionary anomaly nodded, their crystalline form pulsing with nervous energy. The quantum frequency is set. Once we breach their flagship's shields, I can broadcast their research logs and experimental footage to every digital device on Earth. The world will see what they really came here to do. Then it's time. Samantha turned to her assembled teams. Marcus, Olivia, you're with me on the main assault. Sophia, take your group and protect the civilian evacuation zones. Raj, coordinate our global teams. And Nathan. She paused, looking at her friend who'd stood by her through everything. Keep that broadcast signal ready. When we make our opening, it has to count. The Arcturian ships moved into dispersal position, their formation creating a geometric pattern that made Samantha's quantum senses tingle with warning. On the ground, military forces were pulling back, clearly aware of what was coming. Now. Samantha gave the signal, and 30 evolved humans launched their coordinated attack. Marcus manipulated probability itself, creating chaos in the ship's precision formation. Olivia generated quantum entanglement fields that disrupted their communications. Around the world, other teams attacked secondary targets, preventing the Arcturians from coordinating their defense. But it was Samantha who led the main assault. As she rose through the air, quantum energy swirling around her like a storm, she finally understood what she truly was, not a mutation or an anomaly, but a glimpse of humanity's vast potential. The flagship's shield sparked and crackled as she hit them with concentrated quantum force. General Ven's voice boomed across all frequencies, "You cannot stop evolution's natural order, Dr. Reed. Your species is too young, too uncontrolled. The cosmos requires stability." "No," Samantha replied, drawing more power than she'd ever dared channel before. "The cosmos requires growth. Change. The courage to become something new." She could feel her consciousness expanding as she pushed her abilities to their limit, connecting with the quantum field in ways she'd never imagined possible. Through that connection, she sensed something extraordinary, resonances from all across Earth, thousands of latent quantum signatures beginning to awaken. "They're evolving," Naira's voice was filled with awe. "Your resistance, your display of potential, it's triggering widespread activation of dormant abilities." The Arcturian ships began charging their primary weapons, preparing to release the viral weapon before more humans could evolve. But Samantha wasn't fighting alone anymore. She felt Marcus and Olivia linking their powers with hers, followed by others, creating a quantum network of shared strength. Reality itself seemed to bend as their combined abilities reached critical mass. The flagship's shields shattered under the onslaught, and Naira seized their chance, broadcasting the truth to every screen on Earth, the experiments, the torture, the planned genocide of human potential. "You want to see what uncontrolled evolution looks like?" Samantha challenged as she tore through the flagship's defenses. "Watch carefully." Inside the ship, she found the viral weapon, a crystalline matrix containing engineered pathogens designed to rewrite human DNA. With perfect control born from desperation, she reversed its quantum structure, transforming it from a tool of suppression into a catalyst for change. "No!" Ven appeared in full battle armor, but too late. Samantha had already released the transformed virus into the ship's atmosphere processors. "Do you realize what you've done?" "Created a choice," Samantha replied. "The virus won't force evolution or suppress it. It will simply allow each human to reach their own potential, whatever that might be. Because that's what you never understood, evolution isn't about control. It's about possibility." The effect was immediate. Across the globe, people began manifesting abilities, some dramatic, others subtle, each unique to the individual. The Arcturian fleet hung motionless in the sky as their worst fear came to pass, humanity's evolutionary potential unleashed. In the aftermath, as the Arcturian ships retreated from Earth orbit, Samantha stood with her fellow evolved humans, watching the sunrise over a changed world. There would be challenges ahead, learning to cope with these new abilities, establishing trust with those who feared change, finding humanity's place in a cosmos that suddenly seemed both larger and more accessible. What happens now? Nathan asked, standing beside her. Samantha smiled as she felt the quantum field humming with new possibilities. Now we evolve, not by force or fear, but by choice. The Arcturians came looking for the next step in evolution, and they found it. They just didn't expect it to look so human. Above them, the morning sky filled with the quantum signatures of awakening potential, each one a testament to humanity's most powerful ability, the capacity to grow, to change, and to become something more than anyone thought possible. The next chapter in human evolution had begun, and this time, humanity would write it for themselves.